Uh, there is something I need you to understand. Before I tell you about this call, before I describe the person who is making it and what they are carrying and what they are about to bring to you in the form of an unexpected contact that you were not anticipating, especially not from this particular person. In this particular moment, the detachment is not what it looks like. Welcome, and let me explain. There is a specific kind of person who expresses closeness by creating distance, not because they want the distance, but because closeness frightens them in the particular way that something frightens a person when its importance to them has exceeded what they know how to hold without losing themselves in it. The detachment is the fear, not the indifference. When something matters enormously and you do not know how to be in the presence of something, that matters enormously. Without becoming vulnerable in a way that terrifies you, you create distance, not to push away, but to manage the overwhelming quality of something that feels too large, to be close to without losing the protective distance. That keeps you from being fully exposed to how much you want it. That is what you have been experiencing from this person. The management of their own overwhelm in the form of behavior. That looks like indifference from the outside and is anything but. From the inside, oof, I want to describe what their interior experience has been because I think you need to see it fully to understand why an unexpected call from someone who has been acting detached is happening now and what it means. That it is, they have been in conflict, the specific internal conflict of someone who wants to reach toward you and who keeps pulling back from the reaching at the last moment before the reach becomes visible or before it commits them to something. That the detached part of them is not yet ready to be committed to. They have started messages and deleted them, picked up the phone and put it down, had conversations in their head with you that were never sent because the sending required crossing a threshold that the fear would not allow every time they approached it until now. Something changed, something tipped in the balance between the wanting and the fear, in the direction of the wanting, and the call is the result of that tipping. The first contact, that has managed to survive. The moment where they would normally pull back and did not, this time, now I want to tell you about the message. I am thinking about you because it is in the title and it is the most important thing. That is being communicated through whatever form this contact takes. I am thinking about you from someone who has been acting detached, carries a specific weight that is different from the same words. Coming from someone who has been openly warm and present and consistent in their reaching. From the detached person, I am thinking about you is an enormous admission because it breaks the frame of someone who appears unaffected, who has been maintaining the appearance of someone who is fine and unattached and not particularly preoccupied with any one person or connection in their orbit. To say, I am thinking about you from inside that frame is to crack it deliberately with full awareness of what the crack reveals, that the detachment was performance, that the indifference was management, that underneath both of those, something has been present all along that they are now willing to let you see, even if only through this one small opening. I want to speak about what unexpected means in this title, because it is specifically important. Given who is making this contact, you were not expecting this from this person at this time, not because you had no reason to hope for it, but because the behavior you had been experiencing from them had not given you sufficient grounds to expect it in this moment, in this form, as something that was actually going to happen, rather than something you hoped for. Without enough confidence to fully believe in the unexpected quality is part of what makes this significant, because it means the person chose to reach, not because circumstances forced them to, not because there was an obvious opening that made reaching easy, but because something in them finally prioritized the reaching over the protection of continued detachment in a moment when reaching required overriding the pattern that had been in place and choosing something different deliberately in the direction of you. Whew. I want to speak now about what this means for you and how to receive this contact, because there is a specific challenge in receiving something from someone who has been acting detached that I want to help you navigate, so that what they are offering can be fully received rather than filtered through the accumulated experience of their previous detachment. The challenge is this: when someone has been managing distance from you and then suddenly reaches toward you, the natural response from someone who has felt the distance is to be cautious about the reaching, to wonder, is this real this time? Or is this a moment? That will be followed by more distance as soon as the vulnerability of the reaching becomes too much for them again. That caution is intelligent and it is earned. And I am not going to ask you to abandon it. What I am going to ask is that you hold it lightly for this specific moment, long enough to actually receive what is being offered, without the filter of previous experience running so loudly in the background that it prevents the current moment from landing as what it actually is. What it actually is someone who has been thinking about you with a frequency and intensity that has finally exceeded their capacity to maintain the performance of detachment without reaching out at least once in some form to let you know that the detachment was not the truth of what was happening in them. The thinking about you is the truth. The detachment was the management of the truth. And the call The unexpected contact is the truth breaking through the management in the only direction it could toward you. I want to give you something practical now for when this contact arrives, because I think you need something concrete to hold alongside the emotional weight of it. When the unexpected call comes, or the message, or whatever form the contact takes, do not immediately reference the detachment. Do not open with, "You have been so distant," or "Why now after all this time?" or any version of holding them accountable for the pattern. In the first moment of contact, not because the pattern does not deserve to be addressed, it does, and it will in its own time. In the conversation that develops after this first contact has established that the connection is still open between you and that both of you are willing to be in it honestly. But in the first moment, receive the reaching without immediately making it pay for the previous distance, because the reaching is itself an acknowledgement of the distance, even without the words that would name it explicitly. The act of reaching from someone who has been managing distance is its own form of admitting that the distance was not what was wanted. Receive that admission first and let the fuller conversation follow from a place of connection restored, rather than from a place of immediately relitigating what created the distance in the first place. The call is coming, or the message, the unexpected contact from someone whose behavior has not given you every reason to expect it, but whose interior experience has been a very different story from the performance of detachment that has been visible on the surface. Underneath the detachment, they have been thinking about you, and now they are saying so. That matters more than the detachment that preceded it. Not because the detachment does not matter, but because what breaks through the detachment to reach you anyway is always more true than what the detachment was trying to protect. What is breaking through is the truth. And the truth is, they are thinking about you. Receive that with both hands